Okay, so how do we engage others in other parts of the organization, other functions, in partnering on delivering the initiatives that our team has? Hello everyone, I'm Craig Ross. Part 2 in this 3-part series. In part 1, we talked about the need to demonstrate empathy. That human beings who don't care about each other aren't going to get much done until there is some level of caring. Now, let's talk about what it means to build upon that empathy that we've established. We're actually 2 human beings. We've acknowledged that we're working together. People have good intentions. Let's activate those intentions. You know, one of the things that we know that is talked a lot about within high-performing teams is the need for role clarity. But what does that look like in this situation? One of the things we've found out is so often organizations, teammates will articulate and say, we work in a really heavily matrixed organization. And yet when we watch them and observe them, they're functioning from ways with approaches that they used when they weren't so matrixed. And so we are advocates for simply putting it on the table, for calling it out. What does that look like, specifically as it relates to role clarity? I was working with a leader just this morning. This is a leader who works within headquarters, who has his own objectives, and he's got a dotted line relationship to someone who works on one of their sites, one of their remote sites. This person has a solid line, of course, to that site leader, and then a dotted line to this person. After demonstrating empathy, this is what he did to take their partnership, their teamwork to new levels. He simply said, hey, listen, I understand that you have a solid line to so-and-so, and we have a dotted line relationship. And yet we both need to be successful in our roles. I'd like to better understand what are your top responsibilities, your top priorities, and I'd like to know why those are important to you. Give me 2 or 3. Of course, the other person shares 2 or 3, and now it's this person's opportunity to express the same. Essentially, it centers around these 2 questions. What's most important to you and why? Of course, the old way of thinking about this, the traditional way, if I may, is I need to engage you in my agenda. Okay, got to engage you. And so I'm going to try to figure out techniques to get you coerced into doing the work I need done. This is a different approach. This is calling it what it is. We have a dotted line relationship, or maybe we're not even dotted line. Yet we work for the same organization. What's important to you and why? Here's what's important to me and why. Now that we've established that, where do we have common ground? Where do these priorities sit in our endless sea of other priorities? We've found over and over again that this sort of discussion fuels and ignites the discussion you and your extended teammates need to have to be successful.